Our mission: Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at all Helping Parents Heal meetings is voluntary. All discussions that take place at affiliate-led meetings are confidential. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with our children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. And I'm just going to read the very short bio that Beth and Rick have on that we have on our website and for this meeting. In 1999, Rick and Beth Olson experienced a tragedy that no parent should ever have to go through: the passing of their two children, Jessica and Joshua, in a car accident caused by a drunk driver. Almost 19 years later, Rick and Beth share what they learned during their painful journey in order to help those who have experienced a similar tragedy. Once again, living in a house filled with children's laughter, the Olsons proved that it is not only possible to survive such a devastating blow, but eventually thrive. Rick and Beth have come to realize that the passing of their two children was meant to happen. It allowed them to step into their destiny of helping others. They have written a book, We Never Left You. The book talks about their journey in the first year after the death of their children and the signs they received from their children, letting them know that they lived on. To learn more or to book a healing, visit their website, www.weneverleftyou.com. And I'd like to turn it over now to Beth and Rick. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we've done this several times and we're really pleased and happy to be able to do it because we found that any type of way that, people can reach out to get different viewpoints on healing or different experiences, we found is beneficial. And what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to spend just a little bit talking about our experiences just for a few minutes, and then we're going to be talking about what we're doing tonight, which is a shamanic group healing. It's an energetic healing, and then we're going to do the healing, and then there'll be a little bit of time at the end if for questions or if people want to share. And as the bio said, we lost two of our kids, lost all of our kids. It was two at the time in a car accident with a drunk driver in 1999, and the traditional ways of healing just weren't working for us. And so what we ended up doing was trying to find alternate methods, and it led us down a path for shamanic healing. And we had amazing experiences and signs from our kids in the first week after the accident. We received messages from them through a funeral director of all people and through a medium, and the kids getting in touch with us directly. And so we're just very happy that we're in a position to understand that the reason we lost our two kids was to put us in a position to be able to help other people. And we've continued to do that after 23
23
years.
years, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. Um, what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be doing a shamanic healing, but it's going to be in a group setting. And so I'm going to spend a couple minutes just kind of talking about what that is and what it entails and how it works. So from a shamanic perspective, there is a luminous energy field that surrounds the physical body. And that luminous energy field contains the blueprint of who you are and what you are. And when there are disruptions in that energy field, it changes you. And those changes can manifest physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Those changes are brought about by a dense energy imprint in your luminous energy field. And it's that dense energy imprint that creates those changes. Those changes, you can think about it as rewriting the software of who you are. That dense energy imprint is typically caused by some type of a trauma. And that trauma could be something that occurred in this lifetime. It could be something that occurred in a previous lifetime that you're bringing forward. It could be the results of energies that are directed at you, whether consciously or unconsciously. And occasionally it's the results of energies that are passed down from mother to daughter or father to son. What we do through the process is we work to clear out that dense energy imprint. So once that imprint is cleared out, that effect from that trauma, that dense energy from that trauma is no longer there. It doesn't mean that we forget the trauma. It just means that the energy that resulted from it isn't affecting us the way that it did before. Typically, one of your 7 chakras is more affected by any of the other ones, by whatever the trauma is. And in a group, I'll talk about how that comes into play in a group healing in just a little bit. What we do through the process is we open up that chakra that's affected, and I take a stone from my medicine bundle, from my mesa, and I put it on that chakra. And what that stone does is it helps to draw out or combust those dense energies of that trauma. People will have a range of reactions throughout the process. Some people will fall asleep. Some people don't feel anything. Some people may tremble or vibrate slightly as the energies release. Sometimes people will see things, hear things, feel things. Everybody's different. One of the things that I do in the process is to create and hold that sacred space that we do this work in. And that sacred space is not only created here, but it extends around everybody that's involved in the call, whether it's live or remotely, because energy is not limited by time or distance. And what that sacred space does is it helps to thin the veil between the energetic world and the physical world. And that makes it easier for spirit guide, loved ones to come in and do the work that they need to do on your behalf. How this works in a group standpoint is that we don't focus on an individual trauma like we would do if it was an individual healing. What we do in a group standpoint is I create an energy body that where I'm at that represents the group, and I do this energetic work on that. And I will open up a chakra from that energy body and put my stone on there. Typically, what we're looking to do is to have an intent. We ask that you create an intent before the healing actually starts. And the suggestion I have to people typically is to for a group healing. I mean, I'll make this as a suggestion, but you can come up with your own intent. The intent I normally suggest for people is to receive any healing that you're in need of at this time. So when we get ready to do the group healing, I'm going to give you a moment or two, a minute or two, to focus on the intent and to get yourself ready. Typically what you do during the group healing is you sit or lie down, you become comfortable. Some people will get into a meditative state. Some people will listen to music. If you do that, I suggest you just listen to music without any words, and you just focus on that intent and be open to anything you're going to experience. People will sometimes doubt what they see or hear or feel, but that energetic space is being created, and it makes it easier for spirit guide loved ones to come in and work with you. So if you're experiencing things, or you think that maybe you heard something, maybe you saw something, I would encourage you to envelop that, to step into that, to allow that to create more for you during the healing. What we do during the process of the healing is I will be rattling. And what the rattling does is it helps to shift your brain waves to get you into a relaxed state, an altered state. And the rattling will sound like this. With a group healing, I don't do any talking. We occasionally do these as well, where we do guided journeys or guided meditations. And in those cases, myself or Beth would be talking, but with a group healing, there isn't really any talking. The process is going to be the healing itself. Once we get started, is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 or 25 minutes. You'll know that the healing is done when I stop rattling, and I'll tell you to, just begin to move again. And I suggest that if you want to do any journaling at that point, to make any notes for anything that you saw or experienced, that would be the time to do it, is at the end. You want to add anything?
I was just thinking about how, with losing our children, right? And your children, a lot of times we just try to get through it. We try to, think about we've got to get through the next day. What a lot of times is we push that energy and we just push it down into our chakras. And that's what we're kind of talking about, is the dense energy that can get lodged into your chakra. So that is what we hope to dissipate today, is to lift some of that dense energies out of your chakra, so that it'll be moving more in the way it's supposed to run, more fluently.
Right. So sometimes people will have loved ones step in, sometimes they will experience things. Depending on where you're at in your process, and everybody's different, there are times when people just don't feel anything, or they fall asleep, and that's okay. Because this is energetic work, and this is work that is done at a level that is the start of creating things. So everything is created from energy. You think about atoms and molecules and electrons, you can't really see those, but they're the basis of electricity and energy. And because you're working at that energetic level, the healing takes place first, and then the shifts create afterwards. So even if you feel like you didn't get anything out of it, or you fell asleep, the healing still is going to take place. And as we kind of comment to people, sometimes the understanding comes later.
Right.
It's just the experience that we're going to have here. So we will allow some time at the end for some feedback or for some questions. But what we're going to do now, unless you want to add anything?
I'm good.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to get ready for it. And so just as a reminder, what you want to do is get yourself comfortable. You want to be sitting or lying down, wherever that might be. Focus on your intent. So as I suggested earlier, if you don't have an intent, then the one I would offer is to receive any healing that I'm in need of at this time. Otherwise, create your own intent. I'm going to give you about a minute or two to kind of get settled and to focus on that intent. And then I will start talking for a little bit as the healing starts. And then all you'll hear is rattling. Okay, so as you're sitting or laying down, just take a couple of deep breaths. In and out, a little bit deeper than you normally do. Kind of help yourself to get relaxed. Go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Take your time coming back. And I would suggest if you had any experiences, go ahead and jot them down. Make a little journal note of it or something. We'll give people a minute or two to make some notes, and I'll share what I saw on my end, and then we'll open it up for any questions or comments, or if anybody wants to share, feel free to share in the chat. I can tell you that the stone this is the stone that I was told to pick. When I do this healing individually, you get to pick the stone, but when I do it remotely or in a group healing, I am told what stone to pick. And this is one of the stones from one of the sacred sites in Peru that I visited. The archaeologists say they used it for granaries, but the shamans that I was down there with, they kind of laugh at that. They say, no, it wasn't used for granary, it was for fertility. This was some monuments that they put together for fertility, for that feminine aspect, for that aspect of rebirth and coming forth again. A couple of things that I saw throughout the process. There was, I was looking down from high above, and there was like all these little domes of light. And inside of each of these domes of light, there was a person that was either sitting or lying down, in some cases standing. So there was these hundreds of domes of light, and then there were beams, white beams that started to come down from above and would intersect those domes of light right at the top of the dome, and then you could see energy coming down those beams. You could also see there were beings coming down, spirits, helpers that were coming down, and they were just kind of surrounding those domes where the people were, and you could just see and sense this drawing of dense energy that was coming out, and just this holding of the space that these energetic and angelic beings were doing as they were coming down. And then near the end of it, there was this large figure, and it was the sense of Mother Earth, of that aspect of Mother Earth that came up, and she just kind of came up and put her arms out and around, and it was like giving a hug to all of those domes of light and giving her sense of peace and sense of love out to everybody that was in that healing. So that's what couple of the things that I saw from my end. So if anybody has any experiences or questions they want to, yes, big emotional releases can happen.
Mhm.
That's part of that process of all of that dense energy, that release of that dense energy. As that dense energy comes out, it will, as that dense energy is being released, it's pulling those energies of that emotion out as well. So all of that's being drained out so that it no longer affects you. And yes, somebody's talking about hearing throat singing. I talked about earlier, that sacred space is there, and as these, spirit helpers, spirit guides, loved ones come in, you will see and feel and hear different things. Because even though it's a group healing, there's a healing focused on just you, and you will experience different things. So I'm happy that you experience that as well.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
We got a
Go
couple
ahead.
things we can add here.
Yes. And Rick, I wanted to ask you, how often do you recommend that, this is going to be up on YouTube. If anyone would like to, they can watch it again and
Sure.
experience the healing. But if you could also talk about your YouTube and where they can experience that also. But how
Sure.
often do you suggest someone does an energetic healing?
What I tell people, if I'm doing this in person, what I tell people is that I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to come tell you to come back on Tuesday for a checkup. It doesn't work that way. You will know if and when you're supposed to do this again, only from a matter of everybody's different in the amount of release that it takes place and the amount of energetic shifting that happens. There's some people that I work with that, I'll see them every couple of weeks. There's some people I see once and that's it. I have one lady that shows up every February and says, "Well, it's time for my annual checkup." And I say, "Well, I don't think it works that way, but um, you'll just get a sense of when this is supposed to take place. It's not as if it would hurt you if you do it too often. Um, and one of the things that we were going to talk about here, and it kind of goes along the lines of the next question here. We have started a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, what that's the YouTube channel, and what we've done there is we have taken we've beginning to put recordings on there, videos on there of the experiences that we've had from what we went through, and we're going to be putting more stuff on there about some more of our experiences that we had, interactions with our kids, interactions energetically, um, about how we approach this aspect of healing. We have guided meditations on there. We'll have shamanic guided journeys on there as well. That's all on there right now. Um, and the aspect of forgiveness, I think that's probably best favorite video that we did so far. If
Yes.
you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yes, so we just added that on our YouTube channel. It's called Forgiveness. We in December we reached out to David, who murdered our children, the drunk driver, who killed our kids, to forgive them. We had tr- felt like it was time
Yep.
because of the word, soul contract, spirit contract, that we've learned and we've taught, taken classes about different things. And it was like, I think David was part of the soul contract. So we reached out and we forgave him in December. And it is really a powerful YouTube channel, or excuse me, YouTube video. So please take a peek at it. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, and one of the things we won't mention it here because it has more effect if you watch the video, but we went there with the intention to that it was really all for David. We wanted to help him, forgive him so that he could move on.
Well, he also became a minister.
Right.
So when he was in prison, he did become a minister. So that was a huge reason why it was like, wow, he's helping others. So if we maybe go to forgive him, help to get rid of that dense energy that is probably in his chakra, how many chakras, because
Right.
what he did was, horrible. And so, yeah, we really went there to forgive him and not be on social media about it. It was going to be very quiet, but yet we got the largest sign from our kiddos. Um, and we're still in awe, in shock
Right.
that our kids have been, planning this probably for the last 23 years.
Right. And so we went there with the intention for him and came away with a gift from our kids that we feel is really amazing. And so we've been in the process of kind of sharing that with people. And, we talk about this a little bit in the video, but we'll also mention it here. Everybody's path is different. We've been at this for over 23 years, and, you know, everybody loses their children in different ways. So, we mention this to some of our friends, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if I could ever forgive him." And it's not that you're supposed to. We're not telling people to run out and forgive. It's we were in that space and we saw the power of what it did for him as well as what it did for us. But you have to be in that space in order to be able to be in a position to do that. So don't ever feel that you are that we're pressuring people to do
Right,
that or
no.
telling you to go out and do that. It's not at all. We're just sharing our experience of
Right.
what we did and went through.
Everybody's on their own journey,
Right.
and some people may not ever forgive, but and that's okay. Truly is okay.
Right. Amanda talks about her experiences were all physical, which happens. You know,
Mhm.
everybody's affected differently. You know, if you're talking about twisting above your left knee and got very cold towards the end, sometimes these traumas that we have can affect us, literally affect us physically from the standpoint of, you know, limiting motion or constant pain. So I don't know if you had any issues around your knee or leg that um, physical issues prior to this, that's perhaps what was there.
Spirit might have been helping to clear it away,
Right.
possibly.
And when you're talking about being real cold, that's sometimes an indication from a physical standpoint that, you know, spirit is in the room, because sometimes in order for them to help to manifest, they draw energy out of the room. And so it can get colder. Um, Dina said, oh, thank you, Dina. Yeah, that's the intent of these healings, is to change that, you know, that vibration, to draw out that dense energy so that your chakras and your energy body function better. They perform at a higher level. They vibrate cleaner and clearer, and that will continue to resonate for you as you go forward. Janet's talking about, yep, that could happen too. Tingling in my body, and somebody pulled my hair. It was the energy left the top of my head. That dense energy will drain out. Typically, it's through the chakra, but you will feel it physically throughout the other parts of your body. What I tell people going forward from here is to, over the next couple of days, make sure you drink a lot of water. That helps not only physically but energetically. You may get, you will continue to have energetic shifts that will take place. Sometimes people will feel really energized, and you know, they want to do something. They want to go out and have a lot of activity. Other times people will feel real drained and tired. And I just say, well, whichever way that works out, just go ahead and honor that, because you don't have this type of energetic work done every day. If you feel drained and drawn out, then, you know, take a nap. What I tell people when I work with them, I said, if you've got all this energy and don't know what to do, call my wife. She'll put you to work. So you can, or ask somebody else. They'll
Yeah.
find a way for you to be busy. um, excuse me.
But yes, most definitely just trust your body. If you are feeling tired or lethargic, just be okay. That was that energy healing that we did. You know, just lay down. Just trust it.
Right.
This, I mean, you haven't probably had energy work done before. So some people say they feel 10 pounds lighter, you know, because it does take that dense energy and dissipate it.
Right. We have found, you know, because we tried the normal route of healing, of dealing with the grief, and it didn't work for us. We were kind of pushed down this path
Mhm.
of energetic work and healing, and we have found that it is can have create amazing shifts for people. I mean, there's a time and a place for counseling, and I never tell anybody don't receive counseling, but there are times when, are if you find an energy worker that you trust, or that you have gotten recommendations from with other people, you can create shifts in 1 or 2 sessions of energy work that would sometimes take years to go through normal counseling. So trust yourself. If you're drawn towards some type of energy work, then you're being pushed that way by your loved ones. Your body and your energy body is telling you that you need something else. And so there's always a place for counseling. We'll never tell people not to do that, but we've always encouraged people to go to alternate sources, because we're all been put on this path, because our kids put us in this place to learn something or to do something. And it can be life changing, these energetic healing sessions, in a good way. And it can bring clarity and insight as you do that. So don't ever disregard that, and trust your instincts, trust yourself if you feel drawn to it.
Well, Rick, do you ever use drums in your healing as well?
Yes, that's the two typical ways, is either rattling or a drum. Those are the two traditional ways for, from a shamanic standpoint, for, doing work such as this or for doing shamanic journeying. I've just found when through a Zoom setting that the rattle works better than the drum. But yes, the drum is, can be very powerful as well.
Yeah,
Did
I
you?
love the rattle. I
Did,
just love the sound with the rattle. It's meditation for me.
Right.
I can just, you start rattling and I can just, shoo, I'm gone.
right?
Um, yeah, people will, Lisa's talking about her physical reactions. People will have that. And that physical change is great. Danny, um, you want to answer that one?
Well,
I
first, why
I
don't you read the question?
I
So
had to read it.
if
Yeah. Do you?
anyone's on YouTube,
I'm
they won't
sorry,
be
yeah.
able to see what the
Danny's
question
question,
is.
Danny's question is, do you think soul plans are always fulfilled or are there just accidents?
I believe there are no accidents. I believe that it is a soul contract, but that is because that is my foundation that I stand on. And when we all are trying to heal, I needed to figure out what I believed in. And the things that I did, I felt like I was weaving a rug so I could stand strong and tall on it. The other stuff that I didn't believe, I just threw away. So I do believe that
Mhm.
everything happens for a reason because that's part of my foundation to keep me strong. My kids had to die so
Right.
that we could help others, and we have 3 more children. I, so yeah.
Yeah, and when we, within the months after the accident of losing our kids, we started to look back at all of the synchronicities that lined up at the, even just at the accident site itself. And for us, it just proved to us that this was not an accident. This was meant to happen because there's so many things that lined
Right.
up that all took place, and you couldn't create that from an
Down
accident.
to a second.
Down
I
to
mean,
a
and we should have died.
Right.
The accident reconstructionist said we both should have passed as well, being hit
Right.
at 80 miles an hour. So
Right. And that's going to be one of our next few videos is we're going to talk about all of those synchronicities around that accident. And looking at that really began us down this path of beginning to understand that this was meant to happen. And I will add that with all the work that I do with people that have, lost kids or lost loved ones, I'm able to, in most cases, at least get some type of an information from the person that has crossed over, and they have never been sad. They have never been sorry that they're over there. It has always been a message coming across of love and of compassion for those that are still here, and the fact that they're reaching out to help them. So it has never been, in the information that I've received and from my experiences, it's never been, oh, that was an accident. I should still be, on Earth. So,
hope that helps.
Yeah, and sometimes it is difficult for people that are new on the journey, early in the journey, to be able to even comprehend that. I know after Corley passed, I couldn't imagine that our journey could at all be a soul contract. Who
Right.
would choose to suffer? But we're talking in human terms. We're not talking in terms of, spirit and what we learn. But
I know
yeah,
that I know that we're almost done, but I want to answer this question or make a
sure,
comment.
go right
The
ahead.
question was, do you think suicide is also a soul plan or just an alternate way out? Again, from the experiences I've had with people that have crossed over from suicide, what I've come to believe and understand is that these people knew it was their time. These people knew it was their time to cross over. They were just having a difficult way of figuring out how to do it. It was a difficult way of, well, I need to go. I need to go now. I know I need to go. And it's more of a subconscious push than anything else. And so suicide is definitely in our beliefs part of a soul plan.
Right.
And it's one of the ways that they end up leaving.
Yeah, an exit point. That's what,
Right.
what I believe. Cancer, car accident, suicide,
Yep.
overdose, they're just opportunities, I believe, to fulfill, like you said, our soul contracts.
Right.
What we're supposed to do while we're on Earth, and these human bodies can
Right.
just crack us open. And it is, I think it's, I've always said it's like hell down here. Once we lose our kids and we, to survive is something amazing.
Right. Right.
Well,
So,
any closing words? Rick and Beth are going to do healings on a regular basis for us. We're going to hope to set them up, once a month. Hopefully Rick's going to write an article for us for our newsletter. I've encouraged them to please post the YouTube videos when they go up. We'll post them in Helping Parents Heal. Visit their website. It's such a wonderful resource, and we're just so blessed to have you as part of the Helping Parents Heal family.
thank you.
We are blessed to be part of it. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
We are, as we said earlier, we just know that this is the path that we're supposed to be on, and it's a way of us continuing to honor our kids as they help us from the other side. So thank you.
Yeah. And if you haven't read the book, it's one of my favorite books, and every new parent on this journey, I bought quite a few copies of it and gifted. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful book. It really is. So if you haven't read the book, I highly suggest you read the book as well.
Thank you.
So I have asked everyone to please unmute and say thank you.
Thank you
And
very
good
much.
evening. And we'll see
Thank you.
everybody next
Thank
week.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.